with the Hola playing the rhythm of the trade, where the bold and the fearless are made. From London to New York, the thrill's the same. Step into the beat of the Hola playing game. Every tick, every move tells a tale. Navigating storms, we will prevail. The charts are canvas, profits our aim. Pain and success with the Hola prying name. Fortune favors those who dare. In the heartbeat of the market we declare.
Tiger.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man. Everything is absolutely awesome. How about you?
Good
How are
deal.
things?
Good, going well. Is my stream lagging a little bit? How's it looking on your end? I feel like it is.
It looks
Let me
fine.
know how it does it. Okay. I guess everything I'm
Cool.
seeing is a little slow on my end. Let me just send them a quick
Right.
message real quick. Sounds good, but yeah, I'm watching the stream. It just looks a little slow. So let me see. That looks better on the
Uh,
YouTube link. Okay.
yeah,
Well, it just
it looks good.
doesn't seem to be. Okay. Well, good deal. Yeah, it's just slow on my end, I guess, watching the VMix. Maybe that's all it is. But anyway,
Right.
how was your weekend?
Oh man, it was absolutely awesome. I had to run up to Cancun for something, and we're like, oh man, what are we doing tomorrow? This was Friday. And I'm like, actually, we don't have
Yeah.
any plans. Let's uh let's stay up there. So we end up doing a night at the resort Saturday night.
There you
So
go.
super cool. We did the water park, the whole shebang, the food, the drinks, the whole nine. One of the
Yeah.
best vacations there is right here.
Yeah. Which resort did you stay at?
This one was called the Aquamarina Perlas, Perlas, Aquamarina Puerlas Cancun. Is what
Oh,
this one
okay.
was.
Never heard of that one.
Um,
So when I went to Cancun
yeah, they got a
twice,
million of them.
yeah, there's a lot. I'm trying to remember. I think one of them I stayed at was the Sun Palace,
Okay.
and it was either the Sun Palace or the Moon Palace. I know there's one of each, but I feel like it was the Sun Palace. I can't remember exactly, but
Right.
then we stayed at another one, and
Moon-
gosh, I can't remember. It's been 13 years ago since I was there, so I don't even remember the name of it, but or maybe even 14 years. But yeah, um, yeah, I
Funny
remember
enough,
we
the
went on
Moon
to a
Palace
little
is
bit.
right next to it. We're basically right there, like
Okay,
maybe 5 minutes away from
okay,
the Moon Palace. So yeah, right around there.
nice. Yeah, so a funny story. I remember we got onto a boat a little further north, like around the you kind of curve around on the beach. I remember there's some boats where you can get out and go on excursions. So we went off onto a
Oh,
boat, and I
really?
think we went out maybe a couple 3 miles out into the ocean, and there was a bunch of coral reef down there, and
Yeah.
we went snorkeling. Yeah, so I don't remember what it was called, but yeah, we went out there and we went snorkeling, and I at one point it was kind of hard to judge the depth perception as far as figuring out how close you were to the coral or the bottom of the ocean. I think the water was maybe 10, 12 feet deep, but I remember at one point going all the way to the bottom, taking a breath, going to the bottom, and I got way too close to the coral, way closer than I thought. Well, I scraped my knee along it, and actually, it kind of hurt. It was just like stubbing your toe, only I stubbed my knee. Well, I got back up into the boat. I was a little bit. It wasn't anything to complain about. So I just kind of threw a Band-Aid on and was good to go. But I started to realize about 2, 3, 4 weeks later that it was starting to itch. And I thought, well, what does that mean? Did something break off inside of me, and now I'm going to have some coral reef growing out of me? But that feeling, crazy. Yeah, it lasted probably. It was itchy like that, probably close to a year, if not a little longer. But yeah, that was what I was worried about. Was I wonder if I got something growing inside of me that shouldn't be.
Yeah, so we all seen that movie before.
Yeah, exactly. But then, about a year after that, it finally went away. It just left a little scar, which was weird because it didn't hurt. Like it just kind of grazed it, but it just kind of sliced in pretty deep.
Right.
So there were probably some little critters growing around inside of me for a while, for all I know. But I think I'm good now.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah, when you say the coral reef, we have the second largest coral reef in the world here. It extends for, I don't even know how many miles, but it's humongous. So, yeah, that's one thing they always say.
Yeah. No, I feel like that's what, I remember that.
If things start you up, it'll take a minute. It'll be burning like that for
Isn't the largest? Yeah, exactly. Isn't the largest one, I think, in Australia or somewhere in that area? I can't remember where it's at, but
I have no idea. I had to check.
It was pretty fun. I could be way off, chat. Sorry, but no, I feel like I heard that at one point. But cool. Well, so how did the rest of your Friday go, man? What did you think about all this crazy price action after Jackson Hole speech?
Man, how we always talk about, like, we'll make jokes and we'll say something along the lines of, well, I'm gonna stick to the rules because if I don't, this will happen, and you've just seen it happen X amount of times, right? And then it's like, I'm going to go ahead and close the trade because it is news because, if I stay in it, of course, it's going to stop me out. But if I get out of it, it's going to shoot to the moon, right? And that's exactly what US 30 did. I don't know if you remember, but that's the exact trade that I took on Friday. Chat, back in, if we can get my screen pulled up here, that'd be great.
US 30.
I just want to US 30 from Friday. And then I know you like to do the COT reports and all the news and all that good stuff. So let's just check that out afterwards. But definitely want to show this. I'll share my screen. Yeah, I am. So back in, if we can get my screen pulled up here. Ridiculous. I knew this was going to happen like as soon as I closed the trade. And this thing was insane.
Yeah, I know. It was crazy. I ended up getting into I did my first ever, just so everybody knows, I did my first ever ORB trade on after market open. It was on US 30. So, but it was after that big spike. Just testing it out. Very, very small risk just to play around with it. So, I broke that, broke out of that, or broke that cherry, or whatever you want to say. I popped that cherry.
Yeah. Now that's nice. Especially that's interesting. Of course, it will be on the same exact trade that I took or that I was in. I feel like you trade so close but far at the same time. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Back in there, we can get my screen pulled up here. Pull up my charts here so I can show something.
Yeah, I may have to. Must see about redoing my VMix link. Because I can't. Nothing on my end is like working well. Like it shows like 2 seconds of you moving or talking every like 5 or 6. So we'll see what they say to that. But no, we can still carry on.
Gotcha. We're supposed to be. Is it? Oh, that's your screen. Okay. Yeah. Let's share my screen.
Yeah. I just saw that.
Back in. Let's get my screen pulled up here. Well, who we got in the chat?
While you're
See, we
waiting.
got people on, but who do we have? Say what's up. Say what's up. Cool.
Yeah,
So
where
of
you
course
from?
this is the trade that I was in on Friday. Just kind of flew right past take profit area.
Yep.
Like
Stop.
insane, right? And the craziest thing is, I literally closed this trade, literally like around here, and this thing blew to the moon after that. Like,
Yep.
that isn't that happen. The same thing other way,
Was that right?
right? And then to the,
Was that right?
to
Was that right
close
before
the trade.
Powell's speech? Yeah.
Yep.
Was-
Yep. Crazy. So I closed it. I didn't want to be in it at all. I was flat. It was Friday. I just closed it. And sure enough, this thing went for a minimum of 3 for 1. Absolutely nuts. Same trade the same setup that I was actually in, right? Is the exact move that happened. Level 2 long, right? Looking for that signature halfback structure. Right.
Yep,
I even
there it is
literally
right
this
there.
is from Friday. Yeah. Once it closed above this line here, that was the move. Going long. Now of course they moved it with the news this time, but still there. The pattern, the structure, the process is still absolutely there.
Yep.
Right. Well, cool. Yeah, this was definitely something. Of course, I'm gonna go ahead and take all of these alerts off anyway. But yeah, this one was predicted, but again, you can't step in front of that news like that because that would have went the other way. Could have easily done it. So, but yeah, that was pretty much it for Friday. That's how my Friday ended off. I just took this move, closed that move, and just watched it happen. And sure enough, this thing ran and ran and ran and ran. I mean, man.
Yeah, about everything ran and ran.
Yeah. Once the green closed all the way up here, to expect this next huge green candle to just jump up like that, whoa.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Well,
that's all I can.
I don't know if you saw dollar Japanese yen. It dropped 202 pips. I think it was.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I think that was. Yeah, that's big even for the yen or the dollar yen because it only moved. I mean, it's one of the faster of the majors. It normally moves 120 pips in a day, and I think. Yeah, let me see here. I feel like that one dropped. Let's see here. Let me just. Okay, so it only took. Let's see here. I'm just going from the top all the way down to the bottom. So basically, in the first 2 minutes, it had already dropped 100 pips. And then
that's crazy. I see at the end of
20 minutes.
75
Yeah,
pips.
20
That's
minutes
crazy.
later. 20 minutes later, it was down 175 pips, and then when it finally peaked out, it was 203 pips. 88 minutes in, so hour 28 minutes. Yeah,
Nuts.
that's fat. That's a fat move, and then from there is where it kind of based out just along with everything else. But no, it was pretty interesting.
Well, gold too.
And gold, everything. I mean, it's so annoying too because on dollar Japanese yen, it was only. You probably remember I was talking about a 5-minute supply zone overhead that was like 30 pips wide.
Right.
And and that was from August. So that was from the NFP report coming out on August 1st. It was part of that big giant down leg, which that leg was actually dropped farther than Friday's leg. That one actually dropped. the NFP leg dropped 250 pips in 2 minutes. 250 pips in 2 minutes. And so anyway, I had carved out a 5-minute supply zone in that area, and you look to the left, and there was a couple resistance points. Yeah, it missed it. It just missed it. It just missed it. Otherwise, I was going to be in for a nice short on that. But if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a merry. Right.
Right.
Okay, Michael, I'm gonna close out and just reopen my vMix real quick. Okay. See if I can.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time.
Give me just one moment here.
Take your time. Well, sweet. Who we got in the chat? You guys say what's up. Welcome to Sunday's session, market kickoff. You guys already know once these markets open back up, we are back at it. We had some crazy on Friday after the speech. Lots going on. Let's see what we got for the week. Let's see. I know a lot of you guys were short gold on like last week, and we kind of mentioned that technically this should be going long. I mean, I'm sorry. We had this cross here. I wasn't really interested in taking any shorts. Let's see here. This is level 2. Once it's 5,200 crosses, we know we're in level 2. Level 2 short, that is. All right. No real moves after getting alongside of here, but right. I was mentioning I want to take the first M. Right. So this second M, I'm not really interested in because you never know what happens with this one. Can it run? Of course it can. It can always do it, but the probability, the chances of it continuously doing it and working out again after it already has made the first move here, nah. This is why I don't take the second W. Perfect example. We were expecting it to break this level more than likely if you were short. All right, let me take that off. If you were short, you probably were expecting it to break that level there. But as you can see, it never happened. This is why I don't take the second M or W or second pattern off the 200 after the 5,200 crossed, because this move happens often. The first one, I can't say always works out, but has a huge possibility of working out. The second one, not so much. All right, so hopefully you guys close those positions on gold if you were short on Friday, because man, oh man, this thing will turn right back around. All right. Was kind of looking at this to go long, right? We had that 1350 cross. We're looking for some type of bounce off this 50, right? With a close above this structure, which it never did. So it kind of fell off. So the move was no longer long. I was not interested in taking it that way. But what did they do? They held it and ran with the news.
Ran with it. Yeah.
Right? So, Yep. They knew this when I was trying to take the bounce, right? 1350 cross, looking for that run up, bounce off the 50. But what happens? Ran with news, held it. Sneaky, just sneaky. Right, so I know a lot of you guys were short. Once again, go hopefully close those out before the news, like we always recommend, is to not try to hold trades past or during high impact news, unless you're swing trading, I'd say, because then you got the room to do it. But scalping and intraday trading, probably not the best idea. You get crushed so fast, it's ridiculous.
Just make your head spin.
Yep. It's better to just, in my opinion, for one, to just let it go. But market's open all the time. You can deal without being in this one move, right? Like, it's fine. Well, yeah, pretty much getting on Friday. One of those two, which again was gold in that US 30 trade. Ty, you want to jump? Can you show the screen and you good to go over there now?
Yeah, I think I'm good. I mean, it's still laggy on my end, but as long as it looks good to you guys, that's all that matters. So yeah, I should still be able to go through some goodies here. But yeah, we can definitely take a look at kind of how all the take a look at how all the currency indexes finished off and what their reactions to. And then, yeah, we can definitely go over the COT report, see what the big banks and the big boys, the big banks and the institutions bought and sold off on. Now, it's obviously probably going to be a heck of a lot different because of the Jackson Hole symposium results. But we'll at least get a little bit of an updated view as of last Tuesday. As always, that COT report is accurate as of last Tuesday. So, yeah, back in. If you can go ahead and share my screen, we'll take a look at a few indexes here. Indexes, indices, however you want to say that word. Right? Depends if you want to say it properly or not. I try to sound proper, but sometimes it comes out indexes. But yeah, and we can take a look because it's funny. I had a demand zone on Bitcoin get hit earlier today. When the markets, before the Forex markets open, but it moved way too quick, and plus Bitcoin is kind of giving me a little bit more of a bearish signal at the moment. So I didn't just I didn't let the FOMO kick in. I didn't jump in there just because it hit the demand and bounced up. Thought about it.
Right.
I thought about it hardcore. I had my finger all over the buy button. I even kind of created the trade or preloaded the trade, if you will. But yeah, I just ultimately realized that I'd be breaking all kinds of rules if I just hit the buy button. So I have avoided it.
Yeah.
And yeah, probably just best just to let probably the next 24 hours of trading action kind of cycle through and figure out which way Bitcoin wants to trend. Just because it's the exact same thing that happened, Michael, from when I was keeping an eye on that zone on the DAX. If you remember, I was being flirty with the DAX for a few weeks, right? Same exact thing. She was pretty, but I just didn't want to marry it, so I stayed away from it.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the best thing to do.
Yeah. All right, so here's the Dixie. And yeah, the Dixie, the dollar is really the only currency that just completely plummeted. All the other ones, there's the Euro index, the British pound index, everything else went up. So it's just interesting to see that from a 30,000-foot view first. And then that's the VIX. So the VIX dropped quite a bit as well.
Right.
But yeah. So, okay. So dollar down, everything else up. And obviously the actual indexes that you can create, the currency indexes, it was basically the exact same picture. But but yeah, just looking at the COT report. I think I put a copy of it over here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so yeah, as far as the COT report, looks like the Nikkei was the big winner again. I think that was the one that was bought up the most last week too, the Nikkei. So that's now 2 weeks in a row, and this time they increased their net percentage by 7.97%. They, of course, are net long, and we know that because the long percentage is 67% to the short percentage of being 32%. So 2/3 of the positioning in the banks and institutions are net long, or are long, I should say. The British pound was a 3.77 increase. Now, it's net short overall. The British pound is. It's net short because it's got a 56% net short percentage. But it looks like they did increase 3.77% on their longs. So they do that by adding longs and obviously by closing out shorts. So that's what this number is over here, week to week.
Gotcha.
So these, so this number here is week to week. And then this over here is the overall positioning. So yeah, it looks like the British pound came out the biggest winner as far as the long increase. Russell 2000, 2.36%. New Zealand dollar 1.9, Aussie dollar 1.6, pretty close together. And then the S&P was 1.12, Swiss franc 0.93, And then looking at like, let's see, gold going down to the other end. NASDAQ was the biggest loser as far as the banks go, minus 1.81%. Really not that substantial of a number. Gold, Canada dollar, those were all pretty close together. But yeah, again, that's, I'm probably going to put the least amount of credence into the COT report this week as I normally do. Again, obviously because Friday changed a lot of things. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So again, this report is only accurate as of last Tuesday. It's always the Tuesday to the Tuesday before that prior. It's kind of confusing how they do that, but that's just the way it is. It's just the way they roll it out. So
right.
But yeah, it can still give us some clues. I mean, again, Nikkei was 2 weeks in a row with a high percentage. I think last COT report, the Nikkei was at like a 9%, if I remember right. So that's now 2 weeks in a row. It's net long again, 2/3 net long. So looks like the Nikkei might be one of the stronger ones. And just looking, and again, this is just one piece, right? Because Nikkei on my top setups is just giving me a +3. So it's still technically neutral. But, the way I look at it is, does that mean the big banks are just kind of doing that accumulation, right? We talk about accumulation distribution quite often on this channel. Is that kind of their, their way of just accumulating? Let's go look at the yen, actually. Look at it. Well, I mean, actually, it's already at all-time highs, obviously. So, but again, they're buying and buying. So does that mean it's going to keep going up and up? We'll just have to find out. It's +3. I mean, it's still neutral. Yeah, it's still neutral in my camp, but a +3 is completely different than a -3, right? And yeah, I could definitely see the Nikkei continue to go up and up, make some new highs. Don't really. Yeah, I do have this 4-hour demand within a daily. Just kind of bring the daily candle forward here. So it hit the daily candle nicely. Has it? It got close to that 4-hour actually. Oh, it did pierce the 4-hour. Okay, well there you go. So that was actually obviously a good demand zone right there because it just wicked in quite nicely right into that little area and then it just bounced up. So at this point, if I wanted to look at maybe some smaller time frame stuff, scalping, whatever, 5-minute, 15-minute demand zones, then I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on this leg up and see if I can ride it up to these highs. So that was a 4. This is a 1 hour. I see 2 hour. Yeah, maybe. I mean, you got a nice looking 2 hour demand right there, and look at that volume spread candle right there, the big red candle. So effort definitely matching the result there. So I'm gonna wrap a rectangle around that. Just keep going down the list. 1 hour, 30-minute. Yeah, I don't really think I'm going to like any of this price action in this area. So that 2 hour might be the best bet. Well, 15-minute. So that would raise the zone a little higher. Let's see here. 1. So that was the first expanded range VSA candle. That green candle kind of coming out of this 2 hour demand. So I think I better be wrapping a little bit of a zone on top and angle over that. So we've essentially got a couple zones to keep an eye on. That 15-minute would maybe give you a little less, Well, yeah, this is again where you got a couple choices to make. If price were to come down, do I want to put in my stop loss below that 15-minute demand, or do I want to just include the whole thing, meaning include that 2 hour demand? That's obviously the safest bet.
Right.
This is obviously the more aggressive bet, or the more aggressive risk reward management. So I'm going to put an alert, because 15 is probably as low as I want to go on this thing right now. 15-minute. We're going to need a day or two for the markets to kind of shuffle the deck, do some more digesting, and see which way they take things. So. Yeah, this my stop loss to be determined, TBD, right? So for the time being, I'm just going to leave it under this 50. But yeah, you give me a simple pullback, I'm definitely interested in jumping in. Where I'd be the most interested is if price comes into the 15-minute, but also touches the top of that 2-hour, a little bit of confluence.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If that's the case, then I'm really moving. I'll probably leave it down here anyway, to be honest with you, unless it just wicks hard on the top of the 15-minute demand. So that's why I say it's just
gotta get it
to be determined. Yeah, if this thing just gives me a nice solid wick candle in and closes up here, yeah, I'll probably just stick with this one up here on the Nikkei.
Right.
And plus, I prefer the smaller time frame anyway. Again, I'm getting a score of a 3, but it's not like it's a 5, 6, 7. So I'm just going to more or less look at this as a short-term scalpy, short-term day trade rather than a small-term, swing trade of a couple days or 3 like I normally do. So I'm fine with it.
No, I feel you. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's
the lower the score, the
idea.
less confidence in it just a little bit. But a 3, not really at that 5 just yet.
Right. Yeah, and again, I always prefer 6s or 7s or higher because if you've got a 5, it just takes one negative item to drop that back down to the neutral camp. So, but yeah,
right.
5 is obviously better than a 3, but a 3 is better than a -3. 3 is better than a 0 or better than a -3. So definitely would be, as always, I say, gun to my head, I'd be buying this market rather than selling it, especially since the big banks and institutions had the same idea. So,
right.
But yeah, I mean, it's curling around nicely. You had your distribution up here.
Sure.
You had the trend down. Now you got your
I'll be looking at
accumulation down here.
Move. The same exact move, Tiger. That's like coming out of level 1, like the peak low where they just scooped it up to the bottom.
Yeah.
It started to pull up to the upside. Pull back to that area, taking it longer. That's exactly where I would take it at.
So let me ask you this. So on this example, would you count this as a shoulder, this as the head, and then you would need another shoulder over here, right? Before the move up.
So in that, to me, that's so it can be in any one of them. I just wouldn't do the V, as you know. So I would wait for that W, the half of back structure, or the head and shoulders. It wouldn't even matter.
Oh yeah.
I just want to see it pull back to that area that you have it drawn in at, and give me one of those patterns, and to take it back along. It doesn't even matter.
Something like that.
I just want to see one of those patterns. Yep. That's exactly what I would be looking for.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna leave that there. That way I can pay attention to it myself. So yeah, that was a little bit about the COT. So how does that affect my top setups? Well, I'll tell you, silver and gold got a much stronger reading because I think those two, and between those two, they were ranging between 6 and 8, 6 and 9 last week. After all the dovish tilt came from the Powell and everybody else, silver is now a 13 and gold is a 12. So
wow.
Quite the bullish.
Wow.
Yeah, quite the bullish scores. Let's take a look at these. Now they're a little tricky because we obviously had the big.
What's the highest you ever seen one of the numbers?
15, 16. I think gold was a 15 here about a month and a half, 2 months ago, for like a couple days. Yeah, 15 I believe is it. On the negative end, somewhere around the same, minus 13, minus 15.
Right. So it's literally 2 away from your highest that you've ever seen it. That's a great signal.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, well, you know what? I forgot. I do actually have a history. I have a trade setups history, which it might take me a few minutes, but I can definitely go back into that at some point. That'll give me something to look up after the stream, actually. Because I should just be able to go here. Let me see here. June, May, April. Liberation Day was mid-April, right? So, I'll have to play around with it. I'll play around with it after the stream and see if I can't pull up some stats to share in the morning or something. But they're a little tricky. Really, everything's a little tricky, to be quite honest with you, because the aggressive way to trade gold and silver for the way I trade with supply and demand would be looking for some pullbacks at the top of this spike, right? I'd be looking at a 5-minute demand here on silver, right around the 38.72 level. And then gold would be pretty similar as far as like the distance, more or less equidistant retracements I need. But yeah, gold would be 33.65. But I feel like that's quite aggressive. I don't feel, I mean, we had obviously great volume throughout that spike, obviously. But the more conservative thing to do, quite honestly, would be to wait to some retracements, if possible, down to the 33.36 level for gold. And then for silver, it'd be something similar of a pullback.
What, 33.36?
Like 38.
Let me see.
Yeah, so going back to gold.
33.36. Yep. So I got it at 33.45, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
About 10.
Yeah, you're right around that area. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know me. I'm stingy, and I need those big discounts. But yeah, I mean, even if you go all the way down to a 1-minute time frame, I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, you could look at it on a 1-minute time frame, and that's not bad. 33.45, you said? Yeah. So that'd be kind of
33.45.
Yep. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that's really the first retracement, 33.45, you know, before it continued up. You had that gigantic spike immediately, and then it kind of settled down to about that 33.45 level, like you're talking about. So, yeah, not a horrible idea at all. But yeah, just looking at gold, I mean, you know, when you look at it in the context of the overall move post Liberation Day, it's you know, pretty much in the middle, right? It's still kind of in the middle. But yeah, I don't really care about that right now, because it just seems like we got this blue rectangle to blue rectangle. I kind of threw some support resistance rectangles at the top and the bottom here, just to kind of get kind of the average retracements and such. So, yeah, same. Right. But again, I'm just more interested right now in this more recent move, especially. I mean, these spikes, they kind of reset things and give you some new points to focus on. So,
for sure.
So yeah,
it's like, whoa,
that's
I did
pretty
not
well
see that coming.
Yeah, because there's two ways to look at it. You know, some people are going to see this giant spike, and then they're going to try to they're going to say, oh, it's going to kind of retrace back to the whatever median line or medium area that they would claim it to be. Some people would be aggressive and say, oh, well, all I need is just a slight pullback, maybe a little profit taking, and then just jump in on this little zone here. So there's really two ways to handle this. I am no means a professional, you know, investor that gives advice, but this is just really comes down to your risk tolerance. I mean, maybe that you could look to take a small buy, a partial buy, lower your risk, maybe try to catch a little bit of a retracement into this area, this zone, for a push up. Or if you wanted to, you know, risk a little more, then it'd be definitely a better idea to retrace, you know, down to this spot right before the news broke, or right before the speech was held by Powell. Everything else in here is just, you know, it's just a waterfall action up. So I don't know if you'd really be getting a whole lot of support on the way down, right? Especially you look at it on 1 minute. Yeah, you do have, like Michael said, around the 45 level. You know, you do have a little bit of a pullback rejection before it moved up. So, but especially in this area, like there's hardly anything that's gonna warrant you know, catching a bid to the upside. So that's why I say, for me personally, I'm just gonna wait for this basing action down here and see if I can't catch a bid there. If it knifes all the way through this more closer demand up here in this area. So yeah, I think that's it. I mean, not going to get into this trade on the probably on the, you know, during the Asian market. I think I need to see some European session volume kick in, because we all know that we don't get a ton on the Asian market, obviously, compared to the other market, the other sessions, I should say, market sessions. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I'm just going to wait till we jump back on in the morning to revisit gold and silver, personally. But
No, I don't.
yeah, Bitcoin again. So yeah, here's that Bitcoin one I mentioned. So just as a recap, I had this 2 hour demand, this 2 hour red candle inside of a 12 hour. Now again, it's weird. You hardly ever hear 12 hour time frames. You hear 2 hour quite a bit, but not near as often as obviously the 4 hour, the 1 hour, like that. But,
Right.
sometimes you just got to kind of pixelate it, go down to the time frame that makes your zone look the best. And for me, it was just that 720 minutes looking at that demand. Now what happened? Well, came down and touched that zone nicely. It went pretty close to the bottom of the 2 hour zone, and then everything just totally reversed. So, price was sitting right in this area earlier, about an hour ago, hour and a half, whatever it's been. And I was sitting here just getting ready to buy a breakout of this area here, but I thought, nah, better not. I ain't trying to break my rules. So these are the types of moves that really test a person's patience. So that's really kind of what I realized. Like, as much as I love that zone, I'm just going to have to let it go, because not only is the fundamentals negative -3, but also just the price action. I mean, yeah, you had that spike up from the Powell speech, but then everything just kind of slowly grinded back down. So not feeling it. I'm also not going to sell it.
This is exactly what I always say, right? About holding trades over the weekend, and especially Bitcoin. This is exactly why I say this.
Right. Yeah, because look at that. Look, everybody thought at the end of the day Friday Bitcoin was going to the moon again. Then look what happened.
Yep.
It completely gave away that move and then some. So it's just kind of in no man's land for me. Yes, it hit my demand zone that I'd been eyeballing for several weeks, but now the fundamentals have shifted. See, Bitcoin was on my bullish list here a week and a half ago, whatever it was. And if that were the case today, I would have probably taken a small buy on this, even with all the news or even with the speeches, because obviously people are going to be taking the rest of the day and then tomorrow for us here in the U.S., Monday, and then obviously for everybody else in the world, their full Monday evening, to just kind of evaluate and see what kind of a trend their favorite assets is wanting to take. So, for Bitcoin, I definitely believe it's undervalued, and I like how it did kind of bounce into these former resistance points again, where that demand zone was. But I can't, in good faith, place a buy order on this thing when the fundamentals have shifted. I mean, let me just take a look at Bitcoin real quick on my top setups. So yeah, it is. Let me just do this. Crypto only. So what's going against the Bitcoin's bullish bias? Well, COT report is the retail traders, they're net long. Okay, well, they're actually right in this case, probably overall. But what else is going against the Bitcoin bias? We got the trend is obviously looking like junk right now. You got the services PMI data, retail sales, year-over-year PPI, the PCE, which, by the way, we get a PCE report on Friday, I believe, and then employment change. So you've got all these things going against the bullish Bitcoin narrative right now. So it's just a lot. I don't want to go against the fundies. I'm just going to stay neutral on it for the moment.
For sure. Because it's actually not trying to short this thing.
Right. Yeah. Especially after hitting those demand zones. So that's the thing. It may totally go off without me. That's okay. If I buy into this market, I'll be given into FOMO. I'll also be given into marrying a zone, quote unquote, like Michael and Richard picked on me about with the DAX, right? It's just I just need more information, I think, is the best way to summarize that. No, Ethereum had a really big spike. Yeah, Ethereum's at all-time highs. So for anybody trading Ethereum, I mean, you gotta, it's obviously made the run like everything else did on Friday, but You got a nice demand zone right up in this area. If it were to kind of pull back, maybe something a little higher up the scale. Look at that. You got a little 15-minute demand right here. Might be a potential spot. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but if I were looking at this on just a technical only aspect, yeah, this zone is part of the zone that pushed through the all-time highs, right? All-time highs over here. So I may even take a look at this as just, my algorithm doesn't track Ethereum as far as all the fundamentals and everything, but I mean, it's closer. It's obviously going to be pretty close to what Bitcoin has. So again, it's -3 on Bitcoin.
For sure.
I could see taking a small scalp on that and just give me a simple buy back to the highs, which are the all-time highs now. So I'm actually going to put an alert on that.
No, for
Richard.
Sure.
I mean, sorry, Michael.
For sure.
We're going to do that.
No, I definitely would think the same thing.
Yeah.
That's not a
and
bad
then obviously if
zone
that fails, well, we got a better one even farther below. But if it's giving back the whole speech move, well, then that was probably more of a fake move anyway, right? A false move. So if that move is legit, well, then I'd probably be looking for a simple pullback to the zone that formed on top. So yeah, I'm pretty interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
You might actually see me get in an Ethereum trade for the first time since being on streams with all you guys. Because it, to me, looks way infinite better. Yeah, it's infinitely better of a chart than Bitcoin. Right?
Yeah.
That's just kind of...
No, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin is just
but
that,
yeah, just
that mind that you can never wrap your mind fully around for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, obviously there was a ton of hype on Ethereum. I think it jumped 13% or something like that. I think somebody, I don't know. Guess I can measure it. Yeah, 15%. So there you go. Bitcoin was on. I mean, Ethereum was on fire. I actually can't wait to listen to Coach Paul and Coach James break down Monday after our stream to see what they have to say about the cryptos. Yeah. That'd be pretty interesting. But listen, just to kind of finish my top setups. So again, silver, gold, 1 and 2. Euro dollar, pound dollar, right behind it, 3 and 4. That's a 9 and an 8. And then I got pound CAD at a 7. And then I got a couple 5s. I got pound Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Those are both 5s. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on the bullish side right now. And then as far as the bearish side, the same exact thing with dollar Japanese and dollar Swiss franc being the most bearish. The only difference, much higher bearish score. So dollar Japanese yen is now got a -14.
Crazy.
-14. And dollar Swiss is a -13. Yeah. And here's my dollar Japanese chart. But same thing. There's just, you got a choice to make. Do you want to be conservative and wait for a big retracement clear up to where that pre-speech price action was? Or do you want to wait? And, it's obviously, here's the thing too, it's also dropped into a demand zone. So I'd be afraid to sell anything right here because I would have reason to believe that 2-hour demand zone would be stronger than any other supply zones on smaller time frames that are forming here. But, if you wanted to be super aggressive, let me see. Yeah. Yeah, see, none of this is good enough for me to qualify as a supply. So I'd be more interested if I were trying to sell this market with as strong of a bearish score as it has. Yeah, I either need one or two things to happen. Make a retracement clear up to this area here for supply, or drop even farther. Maybe take out some of these other lows. And yeah, let's take out this low. Let's take out this low and have price close somewhere under here and then come back up. Maybe where we're at now can form a supply zone, right? Gotcha. And short it there. That's what I would be more interested in. So, I'm just speculating, but maybe this candle here, maybe we get a nice price drop even further. when Europe opens up. If that's the case, I would love to see a nice little fair value gap come out of that, bust through all these lows, and then retrace. Right? That's what I'd be interested in the most, I think.
No,
And
I
then
can
buy
see
to
that.
cover.
That's
If
not,
I got it, yeah, if you get into a short here, then you could just look to buy to cover before this nice looking demand zone's out here. I mean, there's another 4-hour zone within a daily zone, so I definitely would be taking out a profit at that point. That's the perfect confluence. Now it's a bearish asset, so obviously
right.
I'm not going to buy in this. But yeah, this is just where you kind of have to project out a little bit, and that's what I love about this projection tool. Then I can wake up tomorrow and instantly see that and remember what my mindset was. So, but yeah, so that's dollar yen, and then pretty similar thing for dollar. Well, not really. Actually, I guess dollar Swiss looks a little different. Let me see. Yeah, because we got 1-2 zones I wanted to break through. Dollar Swiss. We've kind of broken through all these lows, so I think I would honestly be okay with just a simple pullback. I drew up a supply there. What time frame was that? 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Yeah. So here we go. So towards the end of that speech, there's the speech move, the speech drop, and then it kind of based for a little bit before dropping further. So I'd be okay with that. I'm going to put an alert there just to see what happens if and when price returns.
Nice.
With as strong of a bearish score as it is, yeah, just give me a simple pullback. I like that. Because we're going to be creating what? Liquidity in this area. Right? There was those lucky devils that decided to buy here, they're putting their stops down here. Right? So price goes up, price comes down. Like their liquidity to fuel their move up, not really getting a whole lot of liquidity hunts on the top side yet. So, people are probably selling more here. They're selling more here. They're selling more here. They're putting their liquidity up in this area. Well, I got a supply zone just overhead. So, in a perfect world, they'll be collecting this liquidity all through this area. Collect that liquidity, maybe give me just a little more of a push up, and then I'll be happy to sell that market. Just like that. So that's pretty well, I think, what I'm looking at on. Oh, it's kind of funky, but you get the point. On the dollar.
What area? Level is that? What price is that?
It's going to be the 0.8033 level. Yeah. Yeah, with how fast price moved, I mean, you got to go clear down to the 5 minutes just to find the basing action. There's nothing on 10 minute or higher, right? I mean, even if you go all the way down to the 1 minute, yeah, I'd probably just stick with that. Probably stick with what I got on a 5 minute. I don't like any of that on a 1 minute. And it's a 10 pip wide zone, so that gives me some pretty decent, size. Throw a stop loss, couple 3-4 pips ahead. You'd be looking about a 15 pip range for a dollar Swiss. So I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. Mine came in around that area too, just a little bit higher at 45. So about 10 off, just like the last one.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, and this is. Hey, how about this? This is rare, Michael. So I actually picked a zone closer to price than you did. Because normally you pick them a little closer and I pick them further out. But I like 45 too because, you're getting close to this little pullback point. So that's not a bad spot either.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it would be there or the other price would be 60, like around 60. Yeah, 80, 60.
Yeah.
So 45 to like 86, 60 is probably like when I would start looking at that.
Yeah. But yeah, just to finish the rest of my bearish items, I'm looking at CAD Swiss and CAD Jap are a -9. So very, very bearish as well. And then Euro Swiss is a -6, and then Aussie Swiss is a -5. So that really kind of rounds out my list. Just to give everybody a little bit of a visual on that. That's essentially how my list shapes up right there on screen. So yeah, again, silver and gold, they got quite the spike. Obviously, dollar Swiss, dollar Jap got the biggest spike on the bearish side. I've got alerts set for most of those. I didn't set an alert for Aussie Swiss because it's a slow mover and it's quite a ways away from any significant supply zones. So I didn't really even bother with that. I think Euro Swiss, I did the same thing. I just kind of skipped them too. But yeah, that's essentially my watch list. Now, obviously, you think it's a very dynamic list, subject to change by the time we start streaming again in the morning, right? but just so everybody knows, because I know, wow, I can't. We have 4 minutes, so real quick on the calendar though, the economic calendar. Okay, so obviously nothing today. So tomorrow, the only thing we have is more of an orange folder event, and that is going to be your new home sales. And what else we got? Let's just do this. Let's just pop this over here so we can all see it together. So this is it. This is another kind of. Oh, you know what I did? I'm sorry. I put that on for dollar only. I need to add the other currencies real quick. I'll get rid of China. We don't really care about China right now. There we go. There we go. There we go. Now we got the complete list right here. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, today, well, the retail sales number, which is coming out in 3 minutes for New Zealand dollar. So I'm definitely going to, once we get off the stream, I'm definitely going to move over to my New Zealand dollar pair and watch it because it is giving me a bullish score. But the only significant things is on Tuesday, we got Governor Macklem speaking for Canada. Got some inflation reporting coming out for Australia at 8:30 Central Standard Time. Looks like they're projected to have higher inflation for their CPI report. Nothing on Wednesday, so hump day is going to be a little boring. Be a good day to watch pure supply and demand. I don't mind having days like that because I know that I can just pay attention to pure supply and demand and let it thing, right? I don't know. How do you feel about that?
No, I love it. Like, I actually prefer no news. Yeah, I don't want news on the day. Like, Wednesday would be a great, clear day for me. Like, all right, it's like knowing that from here to, I don't know, the next hour, your app telling you there's no police. You don't have to worry about speeding on the highway. You're trying to get from one place to another. Like, oh, I'm good. I'm good for the next stretch right here.
Yeah. So, no, exactly.
I love it.
We all do that, Michael. That's great. Oh my gosh. Humans. Crazy humans we are. Oh wait, I forgot. There is one important event on Wednesday. That's my birthday.
Oh, what's that? Oh, your birthday, of course. Yes, damn it.
That's
your birthday.
That's why the Economist did not plan any reports because they knew it was my holiday. So they asked me nicely, and I said, "Nah, y'all can just do all y'all think Tuesday and Thursday. Do it Friday. Just leave Wednesday to me, all right?" And they all listen, as you can tell. So thank you to the Economist.
So you got it. You got it.
Yeah, but yeah, only other thing is unemployment. The normal weekly unemployment for the dollar. GDP, probably going to be one of the bigger ones to watch. And then the PCE, the Fed's favorite index for inflation, right? That'll be 730. That'll be 738. So a lot of these U.S. reports, Michael, they always come out 15 minutes after our stream ends for Forex Fire. It's kind of nice. Yeah. Then we can focus 100% on that. Yeah.
Exactly.
8:30 a.m. Eastern time. That's when the bulk of U.S. news comes out. So literally right at the start of an hour before the market is what I'm trying to say. The market's open, right? Yeah. 9:30 is when New York opens.
I love it.
Stock trading.
Yeah.
You love it?
I love it. I love when that happens.
Man, we do. I do too. And it just dawned on me the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, they do kind of do that an hour before equities opens. That's pretty smart that they do that because You know, our market opens a little earlier for Forex. It's a
Mhm.
hour and a half prior to the stock market. Well, that's when the banks are kind of pre-positioning, right? They pre-position, and then they
Right.
release the reports an hour before the market opens, the stock market, and then they go to town
Do as
thereafter.
you
So,
please.
anyway, that was a quick hour. Quick hour as always, Michael.
Yep. We already know we'll see you in the Forex Fire session. Fun as always.
Yep.
And guys, I'll be doing the quiet markets with Tony here in about 2 hours' time. So circle on back. Other than that, we'll catch you guys in the
Right
next
on,
session.
right on.
Take
Awesome.
it easy.
Awesome. All right, brother. We'll see you in the morning.
Absolutely.
Hola Prime. Trade with transparency.